If you told me just a few years ago that in 2025, you're going to be on a panel on Piers Morgan's show debating the former press secretary for George W. Bush, Ari Fleischer, and owning him pretty good, I wouldn't have really probably believed you. But that is what took place yesterday. I was invited on to the screaming panel, the chaos panel on Piers Morgan's show. Not a great time, by the way. Difficult to actually make salient points and arguments when everyone is just screaming over one another. But that is neither here nor there. I've got 3 clips for you here today. And really what this goes to is the breezy nature with which Republicans will dismiss the problematic things, the dangerous things, the unconstitutional things, the illegal things, the autocratic things, the dictatorial things that Donald Trump says on a regular basis. And the panel discussion started yesterday talking about Donald Trump saying, I'm not joking, I want to run for a 3rd term. And the way, first of all, the way the questions are framed, maybe I'll do a live stream and answer questions about how all this works because I've never done anything like this before. And so it was a learning experience. But the first question is about that. Donald Trump running for a 3rd term and why all the media is asking him this question as though he doesn't float this out there himself and doesn't just dismiss the questions out of hand saying, no, that's unconstitutional. I swore an oath to the Constitution. Why would I violate the Constitution? None of that is framed in the question. It's just, why are liberals losing their minds about Donald Trump wanting to disobey the Constitution? So that's where we're going to start. And again, this is Ari Fleischer, the press secretary for George W. Bush. And he has really just bent the knee. He is not a serious character. He is not to be relied upon for salient political opinion. He is nothing but a sycophant for Donald Trump. And it's disheartening to see. We'll just say that. We'll start here with where the discussion began, and we'll talk about it on the other side as we play a couple other clips.
Why not? I mean, again, I understand how the Constitution is right now to prevent it. But as Ari explained very diligently there, this has only been since the end of World War II. It's not like it's been there from the start.
So are the new amendments to the Constitution less important than the older ones, Piers?
Sorry, Jesse?
I said, are the newer amendments to our Constitution less important than the older ones?
No, but I guess I would say, as a Brit who's not an American, so let me obviously make that clear. My accent probably gives you a clue. But I've never understood why there should be such a sacrosanct reliance on the current Constitution, given that so many of the things in it are amendments. So if they've already been amended, why couldn't they be amended again? I mean, treat me like a village idiot, Jesse. Well, hang on, let Jesse answer. But treat me like a British village idiot. If something's already been amended once, actually, why can't it be amended again?
Well, it can be. It's a Herculean endeavor to try to get that through. But I would challenge your assertion at the very beginning when you said it's a terrible way of doing business to adhere to some loyalty to the Constitution. It's the basis and foundation for the rule of law in this country, and to ignore it is at folly of the people who will do so. Republicans love to hold up their constitutions that they pull out of their pockets that are nothing but a prop and act as though they have respect for this document. When I served in the United States Marine Corps for the years that I did, I raised my right hand and swore an oath to defend and support this document against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that includes Donald Trump. We should have a vital respect and adherence to the rule of law in this country, and it's based on the Constitution.
Okay, Ari, let's move on to.
If you were to amend the Constitution, if you were to amend the Constitution, it takes 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, and 3/5 of the states. The only way you could amend the Constitution to put Trump back in there is if the Democrats want to do it. That's why it will not happen. It's a silly debate. Trump is just having fun with all of us, and it's just not there.
Do you assert, Ari, that Donald Trump is lying when he says, I'm not joking, this is what I want? He's a liar?
Oh, he's having fun. Absolutely, he's having fun. I think he has no intention of serving a 3rd term. Let him have a successful 2nd term. I'm more worried about that.
Well, he nearly
Hey,
had
can you guys do us a
successful
favor?
insurrection. So
One, I'll forgive Piers Morgan his ignorance just a little bit relative to the new amendments to the Constitution not being as important as the old ones, even though all amendments to the Constitution become a part of the Constitution. And you can't cherry pick. I know conservatives love to cherry pick the Constitution, the parts they care about. That's not how it works. To the point at hand, though, is Ari Fleischer saying Trump, he's just trolling us. He's just joking. He's just having fun at the expense of the United States Constitution and the continuity of our government and the reliance upon democratic norms. And again, the conversation went on talking about whether or not, why conservatives act like they have some kind of a decoder ring, and Ari Fleischer referenced that later, of knowing when he's serious and when he's not. For me, I think the standout moment and the moment I'm most proud of in this was when I held up the picture of the tweet from the White House declaring Donald Trump a king. And I asked Ari Fleischer directly, would this have flown in the White House you were a part of? You were the press secretary. You were the Caroline Leavitt for George W. Bush. You were the Kayleigh McEnany for George W. Bush, the Sarah Huckabee Sanders of the George W. Bush administration. Would this have flown? And he said, no, absolutely not. Not normal. Wouldn't have flown. But Donald Trump got elected. The same nonsense that you hear. Watch this. And then we'll move on to the final chef's kiss moment.
Trump was elected because he's not a politician, because he's not predictable. And I do feel sorry for his critics. I feel sorry for people who go through every day saying, oh my gosh, Trump did this, Trump sneezed that, Trump coughed this. And they die, and they take it seriously. And you're right, maybe people like me have a decoder ring, and so we know when he's saying these things that you just roll your eyes and move on to the next one. I do that when he says
is the long live the
Canada's
king also
state.
part of your decoder
No,
ring,
it won't be a
Ari
51st
Fleischer?
state. I'm sorry?
I think this is obvious. We should be paying attention
is
to
the
the
long
things that
live
he
the king
does.
post from the White House, would this have been something that would have flown in the George W. Bush White House to declare himself a king and also flirt with the idea that he's not joking, he wants a third term in violation of the United States Constitution?
No, this would never happen before. But Donald Trump got elected. The American people knew what they were doing when they put him there. They want somebody who's going to shake things up. Part of his shakeup is to say these things. And I'm happy to have that decoder ring. That's why I was saying Canada's not going to become a 51st state. We're not going to invade Greenland, and he won't serve a third term. It's so obvious.
So he's an unserious, unbelievable person.
So he's not
Keep moving.
All right, Jillian, you wanted to jump in?
So Ari admits, not normal. Wouldn't have flown. Donald Trump is he's the item there. He's the difference in all of this. He got elected to mix things up, and part of mixing it up is being a piece of shit, is ultimately what he's saying there. And it ends on a serious note. The conversation shifts before Ari had to be released from the panel to attend to other obligations in his schedule. And we talked about Russia a little bit. And amazingly, it took a somber tone. He's very serious about the things that can be accomplished through Trump's foreign policy. And at the end, I didn't get it enough time in, but I asked him, well, is he joking or is he serious? How do you know relative to his foreign policy? If everything else is just him trolling us, how do you know he's not trolling us here too?
He said he could fix this Ukraine war in a day. That clearly was never going to be possible and has proven not to be possible. But where do you think we are going with this deal that he's trying to navigate through?
Well, you know, the expression is it takes two to tango, and I think you could add it takes two to untango. And if we're going to be successful in creating peace between Ukraine and Russia, we need to put leverage on both countries, not just Ukraine. So I thought it was welcome to hear the president's tougher tone now against Vladimir Putin. And you have to be very careful with Vladimir Putin. He lies. He lies regularly. He invades his neighbors. And no matter what you think about how long this war can go on, or whether America or Europe should be giving aid to Ukraine, for how long will we give aid to Ukraine? If you only put pressure on one party, you're going to encourage the other party to become more aggressive. So I like to hear this new language by President Trump about President Putin. I hope we can achieve peace there. This doesn't have to be a forever war. But this is welcome, in my opinion, Piers. This is a reflection of the real world and the real Vladimir Putin.
Is he joking, finally, or is he being serious?
Hang on, Jesse, I will get you to respond to that, but I just want to, while I've still got Ari for a minute.
Look, again, chaos abounds on these panels. I have my in-ear in. Everybody else is trying to get their time. I'm not so much interested in that. I tried to embody, I tried to imbue some kind of David Pakman energy in how he does these panels, where he's pretty stoic. He just sits back when people start to freak out. I tried to do that. It's not really my style. It's not my strength. I am not suited for these types of environments, but let me know how you think I did and how Ari Fleischer did as well. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Follow me on the social media if that's where you love to hang out. I don't love to hang out there, but I am there. I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you. And I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Don't be a hypocrite. Take care of one another.